You have found the Lost Legion, a Star Wars Legion podcast where we talk about tactics, releases, news, and most importantly, a lot of trash. Welcome back, everybody, to the Lost Legion. I am joined, as always, by Daniel. I should have took first place at SoCal Open. And JR, I hope he never sees another trophy again, Dieter. Good morning, guys. Thank you for joining me.
Going on.
Morning.
Let's jump into some podcast news. Our podcast news is actually very nice and easy. We're doing great, steadily streaming along. This week we will be at Ender's Games this Wednesday. Everybody come join us out. Come join us. Shop opens at 3.
Are you
This
sure it's
Wednesday.
this Wednesday?
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is where I go back last week.
Oh, Enders. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So shop opens at 3:30. I'll be there about 5:30. Get a game in, relax, have some fun. That's pretty much the podcast news. There is some excellent news coming out of AMG. The first one is LVO. It is officially now a Worlds qualifier.
Hell yeah.
So,
All you have to do is beat like 140 people, and then you get a Worlds invite spot.
I know.
Basically, if you win Worlds, you get to go to Worlds.
I should have went to the tournament Tobi went to because it sounds like not too many people showed up. So
Yeah.
that would have been an easier way. Damn.
So that's a good one right there for all of us that still have tickets. The next one out of AMG is, and I'm getting back to it. I'll just go ahead and read this to you guys. We are aware of the production issues with our recent Star Wars Legion Battle Force release. Linked below, we have provided print and play solutions for non-essential components. In addition, we've planned a production run to address missing components. We will update you with the dates for these fixes as available. Thank you for your patience. So basically, AMG finally coming out and with a press release that says, we messed up, we're trying to fix it. I like it. I think it's a little too late, though. Like, that should have been 2-3 weeks into it, not a month, 2 months into it.
They probably wanted to wait until they had a solution to offer people. So like right now, they probably just speaking from like my experience inside of companies, they probably just got their green light, like, oh, we can do a production run that will address this. And so then they're like, all right, now we can tell people that we have a solution. Because you don't want to just do a press release and be like, yep, it's wrong. You have to have something after that.
Yeah, SOL. I agree. It's better. It's in this situation. It's better to have any news than no news at all. So it's like, it's not late. It's just, hey, we got something awesome. They're caring about the game, so that shows some progress.
It is some progress, but I mean, to me, has my personal thing. Like, I would rather, hey guys, we messed up. We understand that. I'm sorry. We're working on it. Bear with us. But as far as I know, up until this point, this has been absolutely nothing.
It's not nothing. I mean,
no, up until this point.
Oh, up until this point. This point.
Yeah, up until this point. So, but either way, AMG, thank you for finally doing something. We look forward to see the fix. If you guys get a chance, jump on their Twitter, jump on their Facebook. They got roasted in the comments. I mean, it's bad. I felt bad for their PR guy.
For what they posted?
Yeah, just I can't get into it too much because some of it's not really safe for work.
Give us the safe ones.
Oh no, it's just the oh, look, you guys finally realized you had a game. Just stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and then we have a couple new releases, or not new releases, but new stuff able to pre-order. First one is the Legion Crashed X-Wing Battlefield expansion. It looks amazing. I don't, to me, if it's just a scenario like the down ATST, the price tag's not going to be worth it. With 3D printers and everything like that, I can make it for a whole lot less than the $100 price tag that they're asking.
Yep.
And
I
then,
mean, if it's painted, it'd probably be worth it.
None of the
But
terrain that they've released has been painted. I would be surprised if they made a change now.
nothing they've
That's
released has
true.
been painted.
Well, even then, like this is still good terrain, and if
Yeah.
they're starting to push out terrain, like I'd rather them push out a terrain with an objective, like even though it's not competitive objective, versus just terrain.
So my
Yeah, this is
problem with
really
that,
expensive though.
the problem with that is
Yeah.
you're spending $100 on a Crash X-Wing, which for $100 I can print you an entire Ewok table. Well, $100 of materials. Not talking about my time.
Then it's more than $100 then.
But that's what I'm saying
so
though. It's
that's
like you're getting an entire table compared to one thing.
well,
And
you're
then
not
look
getting an
at
entire table for just 100. You're getting an entire table for 100 plus. Where this is, we don't even know how big this is yet, right?
That's what I'm curious to see is how big this
let's
is.
see if they put it out.
Because it's got like a couple little, it looks like it's got a couple small pieces and then the big central piece, which is cool because that's pretty good scatter. But
Yeah.
I don't know,
and
$100
then,
is a lot of money.
Like
Yeah.
if the ship that's the down part is as big as the down ATST, and then you got the scatter terrain, maybe
Yeah.
it'd be worth it then.
I think that's probably about the right size. I think that's
Yeah.
probably about what it'll look like. It's just, I don't know. There's just a lot of terrain that you can get access to, especially because, like you said, Adam, there's a lot of 3D printers out there. And yeah, I don't know. I'd rather spend my $100 getting miniatures. Like, I'd rather be 2/3 of the way towards a Battle Force box than have some extra scatter terrain.
I'm hoping that the unit in this card, I know it's tied to the objective of this game or the box, but I'm hoping the unit can be played as well. That'd be pretty sweet. Kind of like R2D2.
Mm-hmm.
let's see if I can find it up here. And then my other thing though too is like if it is a scenario, is it going to be tournament legal? Because I mean, look at
No.
look at the crashed escape pod. Look at the downed ATST. When's the last time you played those scenarios?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always game.
Yeah, but do you play them?
Yeah, I've never played the crash escape pod.
I mean, I feel like companies like this have a challenge because this is great for starters. This is great for new people. The price tag is a little high, don't get me wrong, but like trying to always please the competitive scene is very difficult because you don't want to, and at the same time you do want to. I feel like they focus competitively on the points change versus like what they come out with.
I think that's fine, but I don't think a casual person is going to drop $100 on a piece of terrain. Like
No,
that's why this feels funny to me. Is like only a competitive person is going to drop that much money for an extra scenario, but then this scenario is probably not going to be competitive. So
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
know. It feels like just like a miss to me. But
So
they know their sales
nothing,
numbers, so maybe
there's
they
no
do well.
sizes, there's no sizes or anything like that. So we'll just have to wait and see. And then there
I'll
was
probably
one
still
more.
get it.
Then I'll play it at your house.
Yeah, I'll play yours. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the Boba Fett, old man Boba, dad bod Boba, however you want to call him. He's up for pre-release, a much more reasonable price tag, $21.99. But I did want to point out one thing because in our local scene, it was kind of an issue with the last releases not having all of the upgrade cards. According to AMG, he's going to get his cards 3 command cards, so you won't get any of the Empire command cards, and a flamethrower. That's
Do we
it.
know that it's a flamethrower?
Yes, it says finally an upgrade card allows Boba to invite Boba Fett with. Finally, an upgrade card allows players to invite Boba Fett with his flame projector for even more firepower.
So yeah, his flamethrower.
It's interesting that they didn't spoil that. They usually maybe
Well,
I
they
know they
haven't done the
spoil.
article yet. I could see them coming out with an article that shows that last card, but I don't know.
So the way it's written, I'm interpreting it as the only upgrade cards you're going to be getting is a flamethrower. Which I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, most of us have everything, have doubles, triples, quadruples of everything. So I'm
How do you
not
guys feel
too.
about that?
I actually really like this new philosophy that they have where only unique upgrade cards are added in the packs, and then they have the card packs. Because what I always hated was when something in a faction I didn't collect was super essential, like Burst of Speed with Yoda. I bought a Yoda before I collected Gar just because Vader and Palpatine wanted Burst of Speed. So I feel like this way you're actually saving money if you're not collecting all the factions, which is probably healthy. So I don't know. I like this new philosophy of you buy a card pack for 12 bucks, that's all your cards. And then if anything specific comes out, it comes with the dudes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Daniel. It's just I bought a Yoda for burst of speed. I think I bought two Yodas to have two burst of speeds, and it just feels bad because you're just like, well, I'm not going to use this. But at the same time, um, the card pack. I hope that this doesn't stop them from coming out with new force powers when they come out with new force users, because that's always been their case. Is a new force user came out and it came with a new force power.
Yeah, they probably won't do that as regularly. Probably what we'll see is new command cards on every like major release, like what they did with Shadow Collective, because they added a couple command cards with that. And so then maybe like when the Ewoks come out, we'll probably see a bunch of command cards get added with that group.
Yeah.
That would be, or not command cards, just upgrade cards. That would be my guess.
Are you trying to hint at the first order and resistance coming out now?
I I wouldn't collect either of them. I don't know enough or care enough about their ground forces.
I'll play Kylo Ren.
I'm all about it if they continue the upgrade packs to be like once a year. Once a year, here's a new upgrade pack, everything that was missed. But I don't know if it's like upgrade card pack 2 and then 5 years later upgrade card pack 3. I don't know how I feel about that. So
They'll
Well,
have to do a new pack if they release new cards. And I think new cards are kind of essential to like the game growing.
oh
So I'd be
yes.
surprised if we don't see one like on an annual basis.
well, I think Adam brings up an interesting point. Is like they're gonna want to do a new card pack, so they're gonna have to wait till they accumulate new cards to release this card pack. So like they might put on the back burner making new cards. You know what I mean? Because then there's no point in putting them in new packs until you have a bunch of them, and that kind of sucks. Because like, well, at least we got new cards whenever a new unit came out. But we'll see how they do.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think it's going to be like on the major release schedule. So like whenever a big wave is released, that's when we'll see a new card pack, which
Yeah,
I mean, pretty
Mhm.
historically is like once a year.
yeah, that makes sense.
All right, that's all I got for news, guys. Let's jump into a tournament real quick. We're gonna go to a tournament in progress. Our very own Lost Legion member Toby is over in Frisco doing the Worlds event. He's not doing too shabby either. Round 1, JR, who did he fight in round 1?
He fought. Let me get that. Get you guys some music while I wait. CT 8573.
Okay.
Well, the round one, he lost round one. Oh, no, he won. Sorry, I was reading that wrong. Yeah, so that's the name. That's this person's name, anyways. Looks like he's playing Gar. And looks like Toby won it 2-0.
All right, and Daniel, round 2, Toby fought who?
Brad Bosserman. Looks like it's a CIS list. This was man, I'm not used to this website. Looks like he lost it 8-3. And he was playing against Maul and AAT Invasion Force. So that's pretty cool.
And then round 3, our boy went up against Toby went up against. Oh, I just had it. Oh, Andrew Blaze. It looks like a battle force. So I'm assuming Shadow Collective because I don't see their little symbol anywhere. Oh no, there's SC. So I'm not sure what Andrew brought, but Toby won that 2-1. So that puts Toby in today's top 8 events, which has of recording right now has not happened. But his
I can
go
say I
ahead.
give you an update of what just happened. Uh, yeah, he got dropped. He lost.
Ah,
Yeah,
They started already?
yeah, they played already. Either he's playing right now and he's reporting what happened, and he's still playing it. But yeah, he went up against the top seed, and that top seed was running Yoda, Chewie, Wookiees.
No, because I don't. That can't be round 1 then, because round 1, according to Longshanks, and I don't know how long it's be updated. He's supposed to be going up against Brad Boserman,
Yeah,
and Brad
what's that?
Boserman is a CIS player.
Oh, that's what he reported. Let me ask him.
well, Longshanks might not be correct. We don't know how they're
Yeah,
using the site.
yeah, we don't
They
know how
might
they're
just be
using the site.
they might just be posting matchups because he did already play Brad Bosserman, so they might be trying to avoid that because it's not really fun to play the same person twice.
That's true. Yeah, it makes sense.
So we'll see how that works out, and we'll try to get Toby on the podcast next week. But either way, Toby, good luck. I know you'll probably listen to this after it's you're done, but we're all rooting for you over here. Let's get into some games. I'll go first. I got one game in with Omar this past week. I haven't uploaded it. Sorry, I've been slacking on uploading our live stream games to YouTube. But
Can I interrupt you real quick, Adam?
yeah.
So he said he played the same guy that he played last time. But why do you say he lost to Wookiees? I lost Yoda, Chewie, Wookiees. Then.
Maybe that's
be,
what he was taking.
yeah, and it may be that the Longshanks is wrong saying he was on CIS.
No, because now he's saying Maul AAT list. I'm like, let me ask him. Anyways, well, I'll address it after we talk about our games.
So Omar and I, it was a fun game. I brought my Escalation League list, the full 800 list that I never really got to play. So it was the Fluttercrafts and Wookiees and some phase 1s, and I just threw my Fluttercrafts into them because they had Comms Jammer, and honestly, for two or three rounds, it just hurt Omar because he wanted to get orders to Chewie, his Chewie to Wookiees, to his Wookiees, and he couldn't, which enabled me to just send my Wookiees in and go in and just do work. Great game. Went down to we called it start of round 6 because at that point he had killed mine, one Fluttercraft, one phase 1, and a couple units here and there. He would have had one Wookiee unit dead. I did have 3 of them. Sorry, I should have said that. And I killed everything but a bus and one of his Wookiees. I think he may have had the commander, but if he did, it wouldn't have survived round 6. So that was our game. Great game with Omar. Daniel, I believe you had a live stream game today or not today, but this past week from Dash.
Yeah, so I'm in Invader League single eliminations, and so I played against Degree on a live stream for our first elimination game. The way it works is we have to win 2 elimination games to get into like the world's bracket. So the first game that I played was against Seth. He's running Yoda. Actually, let me pull up his list real quick because it's a pretty cool one. But he's basically running Yoda, Chewie, Wookiees, 3 phase 1s that are completely naked, a squad of pikes that are completely naked, and then 3 barks. So basically the way that this list works, when I was looking at it beforehand, because in Invader League, you get to see what your opponent has. So I was looking at it beforehand and I was like, well, it looks like Yoda and the Wookiees and Chewie are really all of his combat force. Like everything else on this list is just button pushers or objective, because he wants to use objectives with the 3 bikes if he wants to do bombing run, breakthrough, or if it's any other objective, then he'll just have phase 1s and the pikes deal with it. And then, so I ended up being red. He had a large bid, and so we pull up his battle deck, and he has there's 2 objectives that he has that I will just lose at, and that's bombing run and hostage. And so I'm thinking if those two are in the back two slots, I might as well just give up because I don't know how you beat Yoda on hostage or how I could beat the bikes on bombing run. It would just be such an uphill battle. But fortunately for me, those two were in his first two slots. So first one was bombing run, second one was hostage, and the third one was recover the supplies, and the last one was repair the moisture evaporators or just sabotage the moisture evaporators. And so I was able to actually just ban straight to recover the supplies, which was, I think, the objective that I had the best shot. So going into round one, my mindset is I have an army. He basically just has Yoda and one squad of Wookiees as his whole fighting force. So I want to just grab this box and then back up into my army. So I put out my CAD tokens. I put CAD on the center, and then my other guys on a couple other, or his other two tokens on one on another box, and then one clearly as the bomb, just in a spot to hit people that approach the bomb. And then he goes, and we were playing advanced positions, and I didn't think about this, but he takes Yoda, or he takes Chewie, and Chewie had recon intel, so Chewie got to scout 2, and he scouts 2 directly towards the box, the center box that I have CAD on. That we both know I have CAD there because I think we both knew what I was trying to do. He scouts Chewie 2 towards that, and then he puts Yoda like just out in the open. And when I saw him put Yoda out in the open, I realized that I had messed up because
It's a trap.
it's a trap. I saw that and I was like, oh no, I think I've made a mistake with all of the rest of my deployment because I kind of deployed my B1s further back in order to be ready for like, oh, we're going to back up into the B1s. B1s are going to shoot whatever's chasing, and that's how we're going to play this game. But as soon as I saw him put Yoda like out in the middle of the open, I was like, oh, he's got a trick. He's gonna do something with Chewie and Yoda, and it's gonna be a problem. And that's exactly what happened. So first round, I have to play my 3-pip because I did my divulge with CAD. He plays his 2-pip, the size matters sometimes, where Yoda basically gets teleported to Chewie, and then every time Chewie moves, Yoda moves with him. And what he was able to do is he first just clipped Yoda right to Chewie, and then Chewie, he used Yoda first, which he knew he was going to be able to do because I had to play a 3-pip, he got to play a 2, and then he uses guidance on Yoda to move Chewie, and so then Chewie takes a full speed 2 move towards the center box, which isn't quite enough for Chewie to get into base contact, but it is enough for him to put Yoda into base contact with the box. And so then he puts Yoda into base contact with the box, and second action, he just claims it. And all of a sudden, all of my plans are ruined. It's like, oh, my plan was I can get the bomb first because I'm there, or I can get the box in the middle first because I'm there with CAD. And then I'd get it and back up. Now the exact opposite has happened. He's gotten it with Yoda. Yoda's got burst of speed. He's got the 1-pip that's going to let him move 3. And even this turn, Chewie hasn't gone yet. So Chewie can just walk away and teleport him like 2 speed, 2 moves away. I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh no, I've made a horrible miscalculation. Everything has gone terribly. And so then immediately my response is I have to send a squad of Magnus to make sure Chewie can't just leave. So a squad of Magnus, they got to scout up, and so then they just charge into Chewie. They actually dealt really good damage because this is the turn that Chewie also gets to roll red defense dice. And so then they attacked. I got a full boat on the Magnus, so I got 8. And then he rolled and he only blocked 3 out of 8, which is pretty rough. And so Chewie took 5 wounds right out the gate. So as soon as that happened, in my head, I'm like, new backup plan. As soon as Chewie leaves, I'm going to kill him with Bosk, and that's going to be my bounty. And then I don't care if he takes his box. Just send Yoda home with his box. I take my bounty and I win, right? That's my new backup plan, right? And so then we go through the rest of the round. His Wookiees that are not Chewie charge into my Magnus. They deal, I think they kill 1 unit. And then my other Magnus charge into his Wookiees. So it's just a mess in the middle. Everyone's just fisticuffs. My Magnus charge into his Wookiees and kill 2 of them. And then CAD tries to gauntlet Yoda because I would love to just put 3 suppression tokens or 3 immobilized tokens on him. So next turn he can't leave. So wherever Chewie drops him, he'd be stuck forever. And so I try, and I get a little bit unlucky, not super, but like it's like a 60% chance I should put a wound, and I didn't. And so Yoda's able to just kind of walk away, which sucked. And then at the end, Chewie just chooses to withdraw just to get a little bit closer to his side. So he withdraws, but goes back into melee with another squad of Magnus. I did not realize you could do that. So with withdraw, this is a rule that I didn't understand. I knew that you couldn't get back into melee with the same squad, but I thought you also couldn't withdraw into melee with any squad. But that's not the case. You can withdraw into melee if it's a different squad. And so he left one squad of Magnus and went into melee with a different squad of Magnus. And so that was something that I learned that I would not have set up properly for him if I had known. And so that's something that I've logged away to not make that mistake in the future. And so he backs up there, teleports Yoda into a similar spot where he's also in melee. And then we go into round two. Round two, I'm like, okay, Chewie has 4 health left. I've got a 3-man Magnus squad attached to him. I think what I'll do, 4 is a lot for Boss to get. It's going to be hard for him to get 4 wounds. I think we'll swing with my Magnus to try to just bring him down maybe 1 more health. Or just a couple more health, make him a little bit weaker. My Magnus swing, and they just one-shot Chewie. He's just dead. And I'm like, oh man, there goes my backup plan. Okay, we need to find a new backup plan. And so
Daniel got backup plans on backup plans.
Yeah, they just everything keeps like, this is a game of like every plan I make, my dice just kind of said no, and not because my dice were bad, but like in this case, my dice were really good, and it screwed me a little bit. It's like, oh, I really needed Chewie to live. I just wanted some wounds, but Chewie rolled bad and died, so that was unfortunate. So then he takes Yoda, him and Chewie, and well, Chewie's dead now, but Yoda manages to basically run around the building. He's hiding behind this big building. His army's trying to gather, and while he's doing this, he's got his 2 squads trying to pick up the other 2 boxes, and 1 squad successfully did. The other squad, he sent a pike up to pick up the box, but for some reason he didn't put his the rest of the squad around the box. So all that Boss could see was just the unit leader and the box. And I was like, well, I'll just scope this guy and make him pick him up again next turn. And so Boss did exactly that. He scoped the pike leader of that unit, and then they were forced to try to pick it up again the next turn. So I'm able to kind of stall that box where it hasn't really moved. And my B1s just start charging up the map because they were sitting in the back waiting for us to lure Yoda in, but Yoda did not get lured in. So everyone's running forward as fast as they can, taking pot shots at things. I use Cad. Cad's able to drop a bike, and then he's going up on top of this building, basically just trying to pick off units. Clone troopers die really easy to pierce. So my mentality at this point, now that we've failed to collect the first box and failed to collect the bounty on Chewie, is I want to kill as many of his thumbs as possible so that I can put him in a spot where Cad can jump, kill a man, and pick up a box. That's what I need, is Cad to be able to jump into a spot adjacent to a box, on that move, kill whatever unit is holding the box, and then second action, pick up the box. So I'm looking to try to set that up, and to set that up, I'm just like picking off 1 or 2 clone troopers from each unit to try to weaken all these squads. And so then I think it's round 3 or 4, I'm actually able to get into that position where my B1s, he's got 3 men holding a box, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I can swing some B1s out, they can shoot the box carriers, probably deal 1 wound, maybe 2 if I'm really lucky. And then Cad will do exactly that. He'll jump down, finish off the squad, pick up the box. So that's my plan. The B1s swing out, they roll, they get 3 crits. I'm like, wow, good job, guys. That's a good roll. We'll probably for sure kill like 1 or 2. And he rolls, and I kill all 3. I'm like, oh no, yeah. we've rolled too well again. What? Come on, everybody's got to hold back just a little bit. I think at this point my opponent made a mistake. I think he should have sent Yoda up and just picked up that box. Because if Yoda goes up and picks up that box, then I have to kill Yoda, and it's a much harder game for me. But instead, he sent forward a squad of clone troopers to go pick up the box. And so he did that, and then Cad's able to jump down and kill things and pick up the box. And so I've got now 3 boxes, which I need to win. So I'm happy about that. But he then sends in Yoda. Yoda uses his 1 pip, jumps all over Cad, and puts him down to only 1 health left. And so we're in like the last couple turns. Cad has a box. He's got 1 box that's basically safe, the clone troopers have run off with. And Yoda has a box. And then I've got my 2 boxes. I made a weird mistake this game. And we were playing on this map that was kind of gray. And when you flip over box tokens, they look gray. And so it was really hard. I don't know why, but it was really hard for me to see where the boxes were. And so there's this one squad of B1s that every single round I go to them and I'm like, they're in a position where they're near the front. I should start moving them forward and swing them out and have them shoot and stuff. And so I'm getting really aggressive with the squad of B1s. But every round after I move the squad, I realize they have a box. I shouldn't be aggressive with this B1 squad. This happened for the first 4 rounds, all 3 or 4, whatever round it took us to get up basically engaged with Yoda, where every round I'm like, oh, this squad's in a good position to be aggressive. I move them and I'm like, oh shoot, they had a box. And I do that every round. And to the point where literally Cad has his box, right? And I'm like, I need to protect Cad from Yoda because Yoda's coming. I'm like, oh, this B1 squad is in a great position where they can go and cover the entry points for Cad. And so I run this B1 squad up to go and surround Cad so no one can go and melee with him. And I realize this B1 squad has a box. They should not be in the front. Why am I bringing 2 boxes to Yoda? What am I doing? It was, that was the dumbest thing I think I've ever done in Legion. I don't know. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it because at this point I was like, I'm in a good spot to win this game. Until I realized I had walked a second box next to Yoda. What? Oh.
Did your
So
opponent
last
ever
couple
catch on?
rounds-
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, he saw it because I had to move the box there. He's like, wow, that's a box. I'm like, yeah, it is. That's a box. I have to believe that he thought I had some master plan when instead of just being an idiot and moving my box every single round. I couldn't believe it because every time I moved that unit, I was like, I won't do that again next turn. I'll remember to back them up. Nope, I did not. So we go basically to the last round. So it's round 6. And he's killed Cad. Round 5 he made a mistake. Round 5 Yoda went first. Yoda killed Cad with his first action, and second action he could either pick up Cad's box or he could attack some of my units, or Yoda can do a million things. So Yoda could do one of his other actions. In my opinion, I think the best thing to do would have been to pick up that box because it just forces me to kill Yoda, who is a very hard guy to kill. At this point, I think he had 3 dodges on him. And so it would have been 3 dodges shooting into basically, I think he had 1 wound, so a 4 health Yoda. But he surges on all of his blocks. He'd be deflecting a bunch of stuff. And he was able to put B1s into melee with himself. So I only would have been able to shot with a B1 squad, 2 very wounded Magnas, and Bosk. So it's very reasonable to assume that Yoda would have survived. I think he should have just picked up the box and said, let the dice decide. Instead, he chose to try to attack my Magnas, who he thought were going to pick up the box. So he attacked my Magnas, brought them down to 2 men instead of 3 men. And then I was able to take B1s and come up and pick up the box. So B1s came up, and now I've got 2 squads of B1s holding boxes standing next to Yoda. And then I've got my other box. I'm way ahead on kill points. And so it's all basically about he has to kill one of these B1 squads and pick up a box. And that's basically the game because it goes into round 6. Yoda, while he's phenomenal at killing things, his attack is only 4 red, and so it takes him 2 attacks to wipe either of these squads. And so then he'd have to kill one of these squads and have a squad come over and pick up a box because Yoda couldn't kill one and pick up a box. He ends up using it's his relentless turn, and so he force pushed the squad to try to push him closer to where his clone troopers were hiding, so that after he killed the unit, they could run over and pick it up. So he force pushed them, wiped the squad of B1s, but then I was able just to send another a Magna Guard to go and pick up the box because I get a turn between Yoda moving and his phase 1s moving. And that was basically the game. I think he was just hoping that I would make a mistake in the last round or something, but yeah. So I think he probably could have killed the Magna, but there was no way he could kill the Magna and pick up the box. And so that was game. But yeah, it was a wild one. And I made some weird mistakes, and the dice were like favorable towards me combat wise, but not favorable objective wise. And it was a really weird game.
It's so
It was
funny
wild.
that you say that because like that's always been my problem with bounty is the bounty person has to kill the unit, but sometimes you just you want to roll good, and when you roll good, you just overkill something, and you're just like, damn, I wanted my bounty guy to get that.
Yep.
So yeah, good game,
Yep.
good game.
Yeah, it was a good one. I had a lot of respect for Yoda and Chewie coming out of that game. Them being able to beat Cad to the center box on turn 1 was crazy. I did not see that coming.
Yeah,
It was really cool.
I'm glad you experienced this and made the mistakes for me, because now I know when I see a Chewie Yoda, I'm like, all right, Daniel went through this. I need to prepare for that.
He's actually in the top 8 at San Francisco right now. I'm assuming probably using the same list.
Yeah, it sounds like it. What was the name of your opponent?
Degree, Seth.
Yeah, I think that's what Toby was talking about right now. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
He's a very good player. So
Yeah, he's going up against Brian Cook.
oh, Luke Cook's dad. Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that'd be fun.
And then, so that was your first game. What was the second game on the Invader League?
that was it so far. So I've qualified for
Okay.
the second round of elimination. I'm playing against Snyder, and he was the judge for my group, which is
Ah,
kind of funny. So
nice.
I've risen to challenge the judges.
So, yeah, so you're going
I am
against
the law.
top four, and then after top four, you go into the final round. Is that right?
So if I win this, then I get to go into the world bracket because 4 from each region get invited to the world bracket.
Mm-hmm.
So if I win this, then I go to the world's bracket. So either me or Snyder will be one of the 4 from North America West.
Got it. Okay.
And then there'll be
That
16 in that bracket that
makes
play down
sense.
to a single winner.
Man, I wish I would have been in this tournament. That sounds like
It's
a lot
pretty
of fun.
cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, that sounds gnarly.
JR, did you get a game in?
I got a lot of gaming. You know me. I'm always playing games. I played a game against Nick, Toby, Omar, but the one I want to talk about is the one I lost to with Toby. And you know what's funny is that Nick had beat me like the week before and won the Mando. And then I think we were joking that like me and Nick had a inside thing where he takes it, I lose to Toby, so he can't take it, and then I get it back from Nick. now, now I have the Mando bus again. But yeah, so Toby and me played a game, and I was playing. Let me pull it up. Empire. I was playing Din, IG-88, with 2 squads of stormtroopers decked out with the TL-19, and then 2 short troopers with targeting scopes, the T-21, and a short trooper. 2 strike teams, Karen, and I think that was it. It was just 10 act, and he was playing 3 squads of Wookiees, 4 squads of phase ones, Fluttercraft, and the Chieftain and Chewie. This is the same list I played that I lost against Nick. I was playing that list, and so we got Breakthrough, Danger Close, and Rapid Reinforcements. All things my list does not want to face, because Toby was blue player, and I picked the table side. So Danger Close in is kind of one of those funky ones where you're not playing on the table side you chose, you're playing on the opposite table side because of how long it is. And my plan is thinking I'm gonna be in melees with these Wookiees at all. I'm gonna lose this, you know. So I see him putting all his phase ones on the shorter end of his side. And then he starts putting all his Wookiees and the Fluttercraft on his long side. So I just said, screw it. I'm putting all my troopers on the long edge, and I'm just gonna take out those 4 clones and just scoot everything through that breakthrough. Well, Toby sees this, recognizes what I'm doing, so he starts sending the Wookiees and the Fluttercraft towards my long edge because it's still breakthrough. He's still gonna get points if he gets there. He chose the rapid 2 Wookiee squads, and I chose to do 1 storm tides or stormtroopers. Turn 1, I chose to play IG-88's card where he can't die, and then I bounty Chewie and Chieftain, and then I put Din like right in the open for all his face clones to shoot at him. And I was rolling hot. I was rolling Toby's dice too, and I was blocking everything. So my Din was able enough to get suppressed though, so I only had 1 action. So I decided just to move up, and then no, I think I had 2 actions. Yeah, I had 2 actions because I moved instead of double moving. I couldn't base anybody. I decided to move once and then shoot at something, which took a couple guys off. I shoot his phase ones. His phase ones are starting to dwindle, and then everyone else is getting into position. He drops in the 2 Wookiees. I thought he was gonna do it on the flank on the left side, but he decided to do it right next to Din, um, to stop him from getting through breakthrough. And then I put my stormtroopers in breakthrough that could see everybody else so it could shoot. So I go first. I decide to play his Relentless card, and he played something. I think he played the Agile one. It was a Wookiee card. So I decided, in hindsight, I should have went into the Wookiees, but Wookiees hit like a mother. So I decided to go put Din in base contact with the phase ones, and he went in, meleeed one of them, shot out another one. And then since I'm locked in combat now with a bunch of phase ones, he decides to send the Wookiees. The Wookiees are slowly moving up. The Fluttercraft got in, um, and we kind of made a mistake. Is overrun. I wasn't sure if it was you had to do 2 moves to get off both attacks. So since I didn't know and he didn't know, I decided that he can do both attacks off of 1 move because he displaced a bunch of people. And he decided to do the attacks against the strike teams, which killed both of them. And so now I'm down 2x. He's still at 10. And then his Wookiees are slowly moving. Chewie's slowly moving. Everyone's just slowly moving up. So the next turn, Din goes, plays another pip card, IG-88 shooting, and then more phase ones die. I shoot at the Wookiees, some of them died, but now he's so close on turn 3, double move to get into things, and that's what he does. He sends 2 Wookiees, double move into some storms, and then he sends another Wookiee to base IG-88. IG-88 managed to survive that round, and then the Wookiees do Wookiee things, take out a whole stormtrooper squad. Then the chieftain comes in, base contacts the whole short trooper. He gets all hits, which is what, a double lightsaber. So that's 6 or
Double
7,
rainbows, yep.
7 with yes, double rainbows with tenacity. He
Oof.
gets all 7 hits, and he spins a name, so he gets pierced 1. Oh, just like no, I'm sorry, he didn't get pierced 1, because he had a double move and he didn't proc offensive push. So he double moves, 7 hits. I'm like, man, these shores are like my butter, right? So I go and roll, I get all 7 blocks. I was like, oh, thank God. So sure enough, the Wookiees have now intervened and are now tying things up. Dan is tied up too, which I'm starting to regret because I'm just like, I needed Din over here to take off the Wookiees, and then he's taking off these phase clones, right? So in hindsight, I played that wrong. So when I realized that, I withdraw with Din because I want to make a go over to try to get the bounties. He goes and smacks IG-80 again. IG-80 does meet his wound threshold, but he still gets to do another attack. And then finally, Chieftain goes again. This is what round 4. He kills the whole squad this time, just decks them out. And then Karen can't do much. Storms can't do much. So like, I had to give it to him. I thought for sure I was gonna win it because I was just gonna start swinging. But when he rapid, and this is the second time I didn't learn my lesson the first time. This is my second time regretting giving my opponent rapid reinforcement. My first opponent I gave rapid reinforcement was Daniel with his Black Sun, and I regretted it. And I told myself never giving another opponent do that again. For sure enough, I did it to Tobi, and Tobi, I thought, like I said, I thought I was gonna do it to where he had breakthrough already with the, but he's just like, nope, I'm putting it right here to block off your path to my breakthrough, and it stopped me, and he just kept knocking him out, and Wookiees have so much health.
Yep.
That the Fluttercraft when it got in, it eventually died that turn that it got in, but like that's what I was telling him too. Like that was my mistake when I played that list with Nick, is that the Fluttercraft is a distraction. Your Wookiees need to start advancing when that happens. And I told him that, and that's what he did, and he played it smart. So yeah, he just pretty much was mopping things up. He's already in my deployment. Dan unfortunately got too tied up with all the phase one, so he couldn't do much. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of IG-88. I just don't think he packs enough punch to do that much that he needs to do. But he's a bounty hunter, so he's supposed to be targeting 1 unit. And Chieftain 7 health and Chewie with 9 health. That's a lot of health to chew through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I end up losing. I lost some points, or I lost some victory points because he had more in my deployment than I had, and he was just gonna melt everything else with the Wookiees. So yeah, that was a fun game. And yeah, lesson learned. Never give anybody rapid reinforcements ever.
That was my complaint with the Fluttercraft. I mean, I know they have cover too, but they died quick. It and then
Yeah,
it was, I don't know. And it was the same thing. Omar concentrated, like he's like, I want to kill this Fluttercraft because of the comms jammer on him. And I think if he would have concentrated his firepower elsewhere and just kind of adapted to not having orders, I think it would have been a little bit better for him.
yeah, it's definitely it serves as a distraction. Like if you're gonna
Mhm.
run them, you need to be running something that's gonna use that advantage or distraction to its advantage. And you know what the worst part about this whole game is, like Toby was playing this list super real, is we forgot about the shield Wookiee on the Wookiees, right? They were running the shield guy, but we didn't forget about flipping armor, right? Because he was double moving, so it's like, oh, you gotta flip it to get to speed 2. We forgot that he was supposed to be rolling 2 reds with his attack every time he did melee. So he's like, man, I would have killed you sooner. I was just like, bro, you're still killing me. I don't know what to tell you. And then we also forgot that the Wookiees have Indomitable, so they roll red defense die when suppressed, because like on their approach, I was shooting at them, so they were suppressed sometimes and only got 1 action. It's like we forgot about that too.
Yeah, that one's a big deal because
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Indomitable changes a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah, and so like he was just like, man, I can't believe you forgot that. I was just like, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. You didn't even need it, man. You got it. So yeah, he could have did a whole lot better. But it's one of those things when you're playing new units, like you're trying to remember everything. You just can't sometimes. You got to do repetition. So that was a fun game. And yeah, if we could talk, I could talk about the other ones if you want, but I don't know if got
No,
time
let's
or what.
move on because we're getting, well, yeah, time-ish. We're gonna talk about Obi, and we got some rules questions.
Oh yeah.
Let's move on. Let's go from there. So let's talk about Obi. Obi, I've always been a fan of until they nerfed the clones.
Oh,
Um,
he's still good.
so I'll take his 3 pip. General Kenobi. It issues an order to Obi-Wan and 2 units. When Obi-Wan Kenobi issues an order to a unit, that unit gains 1 surge token for each other friendly unit at range 1. Great card, was absolutely amazing with the clone balls until they nerfed the clones to only share 1 per attack or defense, 1 token. So
It's still good.
it's still good, but it's not great anymore. Because I mean, what do I want? I don't know, 10, 9 or 10 surges on a phase 1 if I can't use them.
Well, see, this is the perfect example of overpowering something to be so overtuned that people think that when they scale it back down, it's not good anymore, right? Because the thing about surge token, it's always based on probability of you rolling a surge on a dice, right? So when you were able to unlimited share them, the probability went up higher because multiple people are doing the dice pool. But now that it's limited to only 1 dice pool, it's still good. It's just you only get to spin 1. But it's like you're still spending someone else's surge.
See, but
So
I disagree that it's not. I disagree with your opening statement that it was so overpowered. The only case that something like this was the clones were overpowered, in my opinion, was the Rex Star. 110% agree that needed to be changed.
well, in order for you
But
to
by
go ahead.
changing this now to not sharing, they're not as competitive. And I think yes, let's keep it. Let's just make the argument that we keep 1. Just keep the 1 token sharing. That's it. To me, the 2 quick fixes are very simply give on this card. I should say 1 quick fix. Give it this card, change the wording a little bit so that for this turn and this turn alone, you have unlimited sharing of only surge tokens.
See, okay, the whole argument with the nerf that the clones got is you just gotta answer one question. Do you think giving something unlimited is a bad idea?
Well, you don't when you have unlimited orders to be
No,
given out.
I'm asking. I'm asking. Do you think giving something
I think
unlimited?
I think with surge tokens, it's not as big a deal, just because you do have to roll the surges still, right? So
Mhm.
on defense, your odds rolling a surge is 1 out of 6. Offense is 1 out of 8. So for you're gonna be pretty limited by that anyways, right? Because big pool is gonna be, you really get a big pool, maybe 16 dice. Your odds are 2 surges. That's still, if you could share 2, that's not crazy. I don't know. I don't think surge tokens were really the problem. But I understand like you don't want to have different rules for surge tokens and aims and dodges. So I
Well,
get
and
why they
again,
got lumped in, but I don't think surge tokens like infinite surge token sharing is really that big a deal.
Well,
and
like
again, like
I never
I
really liked the surge tokens. Like in my opinion, I understand why they're a thing, because the clones came out and you can't got to do something different than what the Rebels Empire did with the
Mhm.
surge. But surge tokens are just very unreliable. They're nice to
Very.
have, but
Mhm.
yeah.
But
So
that's why I think like infinite of them wouldn't really matter that much. Like, I mean, that's basically what units that surge natively have. They have infinite surge tokens. Like
yeah,
it doesn't
that's true.
it doesn't change that much. Like it helps. It for sure helps, but
and
not
again,
broken.
not two separate rules. So like the whole game, you can change. You get unlimited surge. It's like no, okay, I understand. Let's keep that, but just to me to make this card more playable, just for that round, the round that you play General Kenobi, you get unlimited surge sharing.
You know what you could do is you could change the wording and be like, whoever gets this command from this card now has surge to attack and surge to defend.
No,
That's possible. I
I
would really like if it just gave him exemplar for a turn.
wait,
Because then he could just share his and that would be fine.
Yeah.
I think the
yeah.
card's fine as is. It's just not the greatest 3-pip. And usually 3-pips are like the best of someone's cards. So it's just not. It's just
I
not.
mean, the other quick fix in that is just give General Kenobi exemplar. Period.
That need to be too much like Anakin. That'd be kind of boring.
Daniel, you want to take our 2-pip?
Sure. Knowledge and defense. 2-pip, give orders to 2 troopers. Obi-Wan Kenobi gains 1 dodge token for each other friendly trooper unit at range 1. Obi-Wan Kenobi can use Guardian during a melee attack. This is just the coolest card. This is my favorite of his 3 cards. Being
Yeah, I
able to
love
get
this.
all those dodges and then be able to Guardian in melee, that also means that he can deflect into melee. So someone's punching and all of a sudden Kenobi's chopping you in half. It's amazing.
Like a punch comes in, a lightsaber, boom.
Just like that. Oh, so cool.
Yeah, I like this card a lot too. What force user doesn't like dodges, let alone a buttload of dodges? So yeah, this is a pretty good card.
Yep. I love everything about it. Again, another case though for Obi-Wan to have built-in exemplar.
You just
I
want to
mean,
overtune this guy.
His Guardian basically gives him exemplar, right? You Guardian
Yeah.
1 and then dodge it.
Dieter, 1-pip.
This is my favorite out of Obi-Wan's. So 1-pip, Obi-Wan, just to Obi. Gain nimble at the start of the activation phase. Obi-Wan gains 1 aim, 1 dodge, 1 standby, or 1 surge token for each enemy unit at range 1 to 2. And like this is like every force user's dive dream.
Yeah.
Like you just dive this bad boy in, you pop this card, and now you take a standby, you take a dodge, you take an aim, and you have nimble on top of that. Like, bro, you're just kicking ass. This card when I was first playing the game is what destroyed me the most because I was a CIS player, and when Obi-Wan was like really hot, and he would just wreck me every time he died me because B1s ain't gonna do nothing against Obi-Wan. So I learned to just ignore Obi-Wan. Every time someone played Obi-Wan, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna walk past you. I'm just ignoring you. Sorry.
Yeah. He doesn't hit that hard with his double rainbow. It's pretty weak lightsaber, doesn't surge. So,
Well, it does have critical too.
oh, it does have critical too. I always
Yeah.
forget that.
Yeah, a lot of I forget in my early game too because a lot of people are just like, oh, I don't hit on surge, and now I'm just like, now I know better. I'm just like, oh, it's got critical too. And in my opinion, when it comes to surge tokens, you only really need 2 because
Yeah.
that's the probability you're gonna get 2 is more likely.
I like it. I just think with the only change that I would like to see here is with all the permanent cards coming out, I would like to see Obi-Wan gains nibble permanently.
Bro,
That would be
you're
so broken.
you're killing me. You're killing me. Hey, not only that, that breaks it because you play hello there turn 1 and you're just guarding everything.
And you keep all the dodges.
Yeah.
That's broken. You want to talk about broken? That's broken.
No, no. You know, has a Galactic Republic player, I am 100% okay with this.
You know what's funny is they're never gonna do this because you're playing Galactic Republic. So it's
Oh, I
like,
know.
nah, I'm still playing it. Nah.
I was talking to the girl and she's like, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, I've been looking at getting Rebels and stuff." And even she goes, "Oh, why? So they can nerf them?" I was like, "Wow."
Yep. He thinks they've been too strong recently. Got to really take down their win rate a little bit. So, new points riders coming out. Yeah.
Honestly, 3 solid cards for Obi. My issue is General Kenobi. And again, I think the easiest way is just a quick errata. Give him Exemplar, give for that turn, or
He's still good.
He
he's
is
still
good.
good.
I think he's a little expensive, but he is good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just that one card. I just think since they changed the rules on the unlimited token sharing, that one card, General Kenobi, just needs to be changed or reworded just a little bit. Other than that, I still think he's top tier.
Yeah, it's just hard because like clone lists don't have a lot of variety right now because they're trying to just barely be competitive, and your options there are really Yoda or Anakin. And
Mhm.
because I feel like you do spend just like maybe 5 too many points with Obi-Wan, but that's enough to where your list can't fit activations and is no longer competitive. So I feel like once we see, hopefully in the new errata, the clones will get a little bit of a price decrease, and then I think we'll see Obi-Wan see a lot more play. Because even though he's not like super tuned, he's definitely solid.
So they've always said that the clones are supposed to be your small armies, big punch. Like for you 40K players out there, they're supposed to be the custodies. You know, like you're not supposed to have 100 units out on the table. You know, 5 units supposed to be able to take care of that 100 units. I just don't feel that the clones are there.
Yeah, it's hard because it's such an objective game. Activations just matter a lot. So I feel like if you can't get to 9 or 10, I mean, if they could get to 9 activations that are really deadly activations, I think that'd be fine. But the truth is, if they're getting to 9, it's because they have 3 dead acts, and if they're getting to 10, it's because they only have 3 acts. Like,
yeah,
so I think they're just a little bit too expensive right now.
yeah. We won't go down that rabbit hole a little bit, but yeah, General Kenobi still top tier for clones. Just clones aren't top tier. Dieter, you got rules for us?
Heck yes, I do. All right. So let's go ahead and knock out the first one.
That was kind of messed up, huh? Clones just aren't
About
top
what?
tier.
That's
I
okay.
mean,
That's not top
they're
tier.
doing well. They
Yeah.
they made top 8 at both the last tournaments. They made top 2 at SoCal. It's just, yeah, I feel like they just don't have very many options. Like droids, I feel like you could run anything and it'll be medium competitive. Clones, it's like you have 2 options. Do you want to do Anakin, or are you feeling brave and want to do Yoda? Right? Like that's basically it.
I feel like all you really need to do is have the clone trooper keyword share with everything. Vehicles, repulsors.
I wish that the vehicles did have like clone vehicle, right? Like where they could
Yeah,
share.
yeah.
Because it's fine that like I understand that the Wookiee vehicles shouldn't share, but I do wish like the ISP could share.
Yeah, that's the thing is like since they nerfed it down to 1, you might as well let everything share because that's why they nerfed it is because you only saw troopers and you didn't see ATRTs, you didn't see saber tanks. Well,
Now we're
now
seeing
that's
a lot of ATRTs. No,
yeah, now
no,
we're
we're
seeing it.
not.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like let them share with the
If we're
ATRT
doing
and the saber tank.
wish list on clones, I want air support to be like any commander. Because right now it's just clones. So it's
Why
really
It's our
would a
commander.
why would a chieftain be like airstrike? Come on, come in.
okay,
That's
but you're
true,
also
actually.
telling
It should just be
me that
non-Wookiee commander.
yeah, you're also telling me that Obi-Wan won't be like, hey, we need help.
No, Obi-Wan's nah, man. I got it. I'm too prideful, man. I got this.
I don't know, because it's just because I mean two options. You got Rex, so you got the
But you
generic
also
clone commander.
you,
That's
you,
the
you
only
also
time
gotta
you're going to take that.
understand. You also gotta understand is like that's the idea, right? Because like same thing with all the other ones. Only Veers can take his. only the tactical seers can take theirs.
Mhm.
Is like even though the Jedi's are generals, they weren't really raised to be generals. So like they know what they're doing, but they don't know what they're doing at the same time. You know,
But see,
Yeah.
it's kind of like throwing the war.
you hit it differently though, because so Veers is his specific one, yes, but doesn't Empire still have a generic one?
Well,
I
now
don't-
they did. They got
Do
a
they have a
second one
generic one?
in the Blizzard Force.
Only Blizzard Force. That's not really a generic
Yeah,
one though.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
That's still Veers.
and then CIS's generic one, anybody can
No,
take it.
No, it has to
no,
be a droid trooper. So Grievous can't call it in.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I apologize. One commander.
Dooku can't call it in either.
Yeah.
I will die on this hill. It needs to be changed. No, I think I like it just because if you're taking those other commanders, you usually don't have, you have good cards. It's not like you need an extra good card.
Yeah.
The idea is mostly like if you have a stripped down army that only has like generic commanders, well, you can call in a generic air support.
All right, what's
All
our
right,
rules, leader?
So, when a unit with a claimed objective token panics and will leave the battlefield, what happens to the claimed objective?
Well, the claimed objectives gets dropped when a unit panics.
So before it makes
So it'll
any
be
move or
right
anything
there,
like
and then
that.
they'll die.
Yep.
You're both correct.
Mhm.
I just wanted to go over it because not that anyone's happened in our local scene, but I just feel like it doesn't happen enough. So,
It actually happened I had a judge call about in my last game because my opponent didn't realize if a unit panics is that squad of pikes. They picked up the box again and I panicked because I just harassed that squad of pikes. I think I killed them at the end, but mostly I just harassed them. But they panicked, and so he was moving them back, and he moved the box, and I was like, oh, they dropped the box when they panic. And then when we looked for the rule, we couldn't really find it because it's not under panic and it's not under like movement rules, and so we ended up calling a judge. And
Yep.
That's what happens.
yeah, see, it's good I brought it up then because I've had this happen in my early games when I was first getting into it, and I was just like, what does happen when you panic? Like, what happens to the box? Like, I was arguing with my opponent because I was like, that doesn't make sense. You're panicking with the box. Like, that's such an advantage. And then we found out, oh yeah, it just drops.
Run
Yep.
away. Grab the box
Uh,
first.
Yeah, make sure twofold. This question is twofold. Is can you move a trooper unit through a creature trooper's base?
No.
I thought you could move through a friendly, but not through an enemy.
So you can move through a friendly unit, but you can't move through a friendly creature trooper base.
Okay.
This came up in my game against Nick. Vader was behind some dudes, and I was just like, "Can I move through a creature trooper?" And we didn't know. He's like, "I think you can," but thankfully it didn't come up because my dudes went first before Vader did.
Hmm.
And then the part two to that question is, if you have an emplacement trooper on top of a building, can you climb down with 2 actions or clamber down with 1 action?
You can climb down with both actions, depending on the height. If it's a height one, both actions to climb down.
I think you can.
So you're both wrong. You can't climb or clamber unless the emplacement trooper says you can. Emplacement troopers cannot climb or clamber. This actually happened in a game that I was watching against John and Tobi. He had put the shore trooper, the mortar, on a building and then climbed down. And he asked me, "Can I climb down?" And I told him, "Yeah, because that's what I thought too."
Yeah, because
But
troopers. Yeah,
yeah, trooper, right? But emplacement troopers cannot. And they
that
cannot
makes sense.
climb or clamber.
So what
Yeah,
happens when they
I've
panic?
definitely played that wrong before.
You're just on that building. You're just
You
stuck on
just
that
panicked
building.
on the building,
Yeah, just panic on the building. It's just like,
kind of like a
oh,
pizza dish. You're just staying there.
yeah, you're just like scared, like, don't know what to do.
Are there any emplacement troopers that have a keyword that lets them climb?
I
I
don't think so.
don't know, but I put that caveat in just in case someone's be like, "Hey, this one can." I'm like, "You're right, it can if it says it can." But I have no idea. And then the last one, this actually came up in our game with Nick that we were not sure about. Um, okay, so in this situation, Vader is touching a barrier of crates. He saber throws some royal guards. His back's up against some crates, and he force pushes stormtroopers into base contact with them, so royal guards can't charge him. The crates are half height of a mini, And what happened was the Royal Guard went on top of the box, not able to base them, but on top of the box. The bases are technically overlapped vertically, but not horizontally. Are they considered to be in base contact?
I think as long as you're in the silhouette height, it is considered base contact. And they have to be able to balance there.
I'm gonna agree with Daniel, just because I'm not too sure.
So here's the official rule. If players are not using silhouette, a unit must make base-to-base contact to start an engagement. Additionally, if the vertical spaces separating the two bases is less than the thickness of a standard Star Wars Legion base, base contact can be established. And then if the players are using the silhouette, base contact can be made if the vertical space separating the two bases is less than the height of the official silhouette. This would be a situation where contact would be made using unit space and the other's silhouette. So, yeah, me and Nick weren't sure. There was a situation where my dewback, his gen was kind of covered by terrain, but my dewback was able to like get above it, stand above it. But we played it margin of error where it was technically could be base. But yeah, you can use the silhouette vertically to base other units. So no way you can force lift barriers around you, be like, you can't get me. You can do it vertically. So keep that in mind.
They do have to be able to balance there, which can be
Yes,
tough
yeah.
depending on how you set up those barricades. So you can
That's
try
true.
it.
Yeah, I remember.
Is it?
Remember
Is
the
this
circular
45? I don't know if
building.
it's 45.
I remember the circular building where Bosk really couldn't stay on the roof due
Yeah,
to the
that
balancing
one.
issue.
That was the worst. Stupid
Bro,
circular buildings.
I would have sat there for like a whole hour, be like, I'll get it, bro. Don't worry. I'll get this. I'll get it to stand.
There's no chess clocks, right? This just counts against both of us. It's fine.
All right, gents, that's all I got today. You guys got anything else?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Be tuned for the last Escalation League game played this week. I'm gonna go over with the guys what day it is. Hopefully we're able to stream it. If we are able to stream it, you guys will see a post about it. If not, the game will be played, and then when they win, we will have the announcement of the prizes. So everyone is getting a prize. So stay tuned for that. And yeah.
Yep, check out our Discord. We'll put out all the information on there, our Facebook posts as well. All right, Daniel, JR, thank you for joining me this morning. Everybody out in podcast land, thank you for listening. We'll see you all next week.
See ya.